He makes a chi ball. He'll get the radio frequency going between the hands, and if you get up and feel, it's actually hotter inside that ball. I've seen him already knock people over with it.
Bro's out here thinking he's a DBZ character. This dude's talking about pressure points and chi energy and nonsense and ridiculous... And you know, I don't get into martial arts pretty much ever. I'm not exactly a martial arts expert myself, but I know this. DBZ is fiction. I'm sorry. I know. It frustrates me too. When I was a kid, we were all there, you know, running around, throwing Kamehameha waves at each other on the playground. Because it was cool and exciting. We were pretending to power up to Super Saiyan 3. It was cool, alright? It was. It was fun. But that's all it was. It was just fun. Just harmless, kiddie fun. Because it wasn't real. I'm sorry. It sucks that we can't actually fly without stepping on board a 747. But apparently George Dillman felt like it was a good time to have a midlife crisis and completely tarnish his otherwise fairly decent reputation. Because unlike a lot of charlatans that I've talked about before, and even among martial arts charlatans, of which there are many, George is unique because he does, in fact, have a background in the martial art of his choosing, and actually is a master at it. Like, he can actually fight in the form of karate. He's a 10th degree black belt and was a member of Black Belt Magazine's Hall of Fame, as well as the 1997 Black Belt Magazine's Martial Arts Instructor of the Year. He ran Northeast Karate Championships for 30 years. This is not the kind of dude who you'd think would go out and start just making stuff up, because he already had the skills to back up what was a fairly successful and respected career, with the exception of one single element.
Pressure point knockouts are the easiest way to put a person down. I can put the largest person that you can find in the world, and I've done this. With that finger, I can put him on the floor.
See, prior to the chi thing, which we'll get to, George is one of the ones responsible for popularizing the concept of pressure points in North America. Now, that kind of martial art aspect didn't start here at all. It's known in Japan as Kyusho Jutsu. It derives from the supposed meridian points in traditional Chinese medicine, Indian Ayurveda, and Siddha medicine, and it simply refers to parts of the human body, specific points that can cause extreme pain if they're manipulated in a very specific way. Now, to a degree, there are certain parts of the human body that are more vulnerable than others, and there are locations of higher nerve clusters where if they're touched or pressured, they will cause some discomfort, but it isn't to the level as people seem to think it is.
If I touch anywhere here and just lightly tap here, whoa, you're getting back.
Bro's out here thinking he's Spock with the Vulcan nerve pinch. From a scientific perspective, it is actually undisputed that there are parts of the body with higher nerve clusters, and therefore can cause extreme pain if they are, say, attacked. But some have gone further and claimed that they have killed people in this manner, and that has been criticized heavily as being...
I've flatlined several people.
No, you didn't. But outside of that, he did take the time to learn the proper martial arts techniques within the realm of karate. Dillman started his training in 1961 under Harry G. Smith. He would also study with Daniel K. Pai, Robert Trias, Seiyu Oyada, Hohan Soken, Wally J., and even Muhammad Ali, allegedly. He also claims to have instructed Bruce Lee, which, I don't know about that one. I don't know about a lot of these. But he definitely studied under Oyada, and Dillman credits Oyada with introducing him to his art. Regardless of what you think of the whole pressure points thing, like I said, he did have a pretty successful career right up until the early 2000s. And decided that he just wasn't special enough. He wasn't as successful as he wanted to be, and he really, genuinely seemed to want to be an actual DBZ character, and claimed to be able to manipulate chi. What the heck is chi?
Chi, it flows throughout the body. Without it, you don't function. And it's a radio wave.
Rosanna is spelled with a Q, and in Japan, it's called ki, spelled with a K. But regardless of what you call it, it all basically refers to the same thing, and it has its roots over in China again. In terms of traditional beliefs, as well as religious ones involving Taoism, qi is believed to be a vital force that's a part of all living things. It literally means vapor, air, or breath, and is sometimes referred to as vital energy, vital force, material energy, or simply just energy, not having anything to do with the actual scientific definition of energy, as there is no scientific backing for the existence of qi at all. But based on that description, in terms of a more Western take on it, as kind of the Chinese interpretation of what we would call the soul, something intangible but relates to life as we know it. And I'm not going to come down on qi on the basis that this is a religious thing for some people, and if you want to believe in it, I don't think there's any harm in that. What I do think there's harm in is saying you can manipulate qi to a degree that, well, you know, DBZ characters.
He throws the chi in such a way that when he catches it, it knocks him backward.
Bro's out here about to throw a Gallic gun right in your face because he knows what's up.
Gallic gun!
He's gonna Final Flash this whole dojo.
Final Flash!
Dude is a Super Saiyan God on a level that we would never possibly imagine. Look at this man. You may not like it, but this is peak physical form. At least after you had about a dozen hot dogs. Now, Dillman didn't say he could throw energy beams necessarily or anything extreme like that, but what he did claim to be able to do was that because he could manipulate chi, he could cause what he referred to as touchless knockouts, as well as be able to push people around.
Snap, couple. Back. I use ones to give off chi, put it into ones that accept chi. We, in essence, turn their light switches down. It kicks out their circuit breaker panel in the back. I lock with their aura, and I move the line.
However, like many of these charlatans, how he was actually doing these things was simply through the power of suggestion. See, his students respected him so much that they genuinely believed he could do this stuff, so when he attempted to do it, they would have an actual physical reaction. Now, he wasn't actually doing anything beyond playing pretend, but because the students genuinely believed this crap, they went along with it. Presumably because they also wanted to learn the mighty Kaioken technique. And Dillman even seemed to delude himself into believing he could do this stuff, to the point that the man participated in a National Geographic mini-doc about him and his chi manipulation. He demonstrated it with his students, and went on to say a whole bunch of other stuff that he claimed to have done. Yes, I've almost killed somebody in the ring. It happened before. I'm really that cool, you guys. Trust me.
I shouldn't tell you this, but I play with people in Starbucks, and I just stood there and I moved the line. And they all moved, and they all looked back at me at the same time. They went like this, and I looked back too, like it was happening to me. I looked, because I didn't want them to know I did this, right?
Yeah, I'm pushing people around the Starbucks. They don't even know what's going on, but I go in there and just bully kids for no reason. Why? Because I am George Dillman, and I really have nothing better to do with my life anymore.
Sometimes it drains me. I can get that way within a second or two if I throw the chi out too fast.
Now, National Geographic, of course, wasn't playing around with him and decided to bring in an actual skeptic so Dillman could demonstrate his abilities on him. Which is relevant, because like I said, this is only being done through the power of suggestion. His students are more inclined to believe he can do this stuff, but the skeptic obviously doesn't. Though he does have the good sense to not actually attempt to manipulate the skeptic himself, because that might show that he is a fraud. Thus, someone else does it. But Dillman apparently still really expected this to somehow work, and tries to offer explanations that he seems to be coming up with on the fly.
In fact, when we did the test on Luigi, he was not ready to believe these things. Or maybe it was just staying there, seeing what would happen.
The skeptic was a totally non-believing. non-believer.
Wait. So if someone doesn't believe you can do this chi manipulation thing, it doesn't work on them? Like, can we talk about that for a second? That's a ridiculous prerequisite. Like, imagine if Goku just throws a Kamehameha at somebody in DBZ, and they're just like, I don't believe in Kamehamehas. Like, that's absurd. Bro, if someone takes, like, a gun and shoots somebody, the person being shot can't just be like, I don't believe in guns, and is magically fine. Like, how useless of an ability is it, where if you just don't believe in it, it doesn't work? That must have dawned on him pretty quick, because he immediately backpedals and tries to say, well, actually,
Plus, I don't know if I should say that on film, but if the guy had his tongue in the wrong position of the mouth, that can also nullify it. Yeah, you can nullify it. You can nullify a lot of things done to you. In fact, you can nullify it if you raise those two big toes. If I say I'm going to knock you out, and you raise one toe and push one toe down, can't knock you out. And then if I go to try again, you reverse it. If you keep doing this, I won't knock you out.
Oh, so now if you move your toes around or move your tongue, yeah, that makes sense. That'll stop it. What? I must imagine he went with the tongue or toes thing because you can't actually see those things on a fully clothed individual just standing there. You can move your tongue without someone realizing it, or move your toes without somebody else realizing it. Therefore, he went with them saying like, oh yeah, he was moving his toes and tongue around, and that just throws the whole thing out of whack. You need the chi to move smoothly through the body. I mean, listen, again, a gun, man. I don't think anyone moving their toes is gonna stop a bullet. I'd be pretty impressed if that was the case. Even if chi is real, I feel like it's not a very good weapon in the grand scheme of things if all these things can just stop it. But regardless of what you think about chi, what I know is that Dillman can't actually manipulate it, and he really is just making all this up. He saw an episode of DBZ in the 90s and was like, oh my god, that's so me, and just rolled with it until seemingly now. Dude is 80 years old and still, to this day, seemingly maintains that he can do these things, demonstrating on his own students so they could learn, and when they learn, they go out, get in a fight, and proceed to have their faces beaten in with a bar stool, because this stuff isn't real. If Dillman had just kept going with the regular karate stuff, focusing on the physical technique, he'd likely still be fairly well respected. He really was never a bad martial artist in the sense of learning actual karate. But when he started making up magical nonsense, he became a laughingstock. And it's just unfortunate because it didn't have to be that way. He could have gone on and retired as a respectable karate master. But no, he had to play pretend, and that's all he's known for now, is thinking that he's an anime character. Bravo.
I know I have chi energy. You can see it with the half moons. My chi is up now because of the filming. I have half moons in my fingertips now. That means the chi is just coming out.
And with that, a special thank you goes to all my underwater train finders, Some Dude 267, Orange Glass, Benjamin Owens, Anzac A1, Arthur Roy, Jack Carson's Road Videos, Lord Off 444, Isurfer 1405, Charles Kwiatkowski, Matt Weaver, Tom Red Lion, NS Productions 8104, Wheeljack 8401, Rescues Greyhounds, The Baxter, Caleb Crosswhite, Andrew Bowen, Josh Johnson, Caleb Brainwaters, Prez Drenton, Master of None, Travis Olinsky, Jared Brussel, JBL Explorers, Tommy Rossini, Ben McCullough, Panzer Kitson 131-232, Mark Holding, G Wiz, Mr. Terevel, Hayden DeGrow, Metal for Life Guy, No, Kurt Forkham, Ohio Trucker 1, Mr. Sleepy, DM Tribal Typhoon, Harry, Drew Debris, George Kenny, Kevin Wood, Liam Wright, Morris Tillman Productions, NJ1969, Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5, Hannah Bird, Western Colorado History, Ryan Wehofer, Daraushi, Your Mom Liked It, Windy City Rails, A Person 723, William Nemo, Dr. Racer 78, Shimasu, Murder Drone Stall, and of course, my dad. Till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fun farewell.